Okay, hello everyone. Righty. Let me just open up all of my reference. Give me 1 sec. I had to let the dog out of the room. Okay. So yeah, just going to be detail sculpting tonight. Needed to get more details and refinements going on the creature here. Just like cleaning up whatever I can find, really. Kind of diving in to everything, a deeper, another level, basically, before I'm ready to do any like bakes or anything like that. So we'll just get all of that ready to go. Let me get my reference up here. That's not the right reference. Give me 1 sec. Let's see where. Here it is. This is, I forgot how big this reference sheet was. It's pretty big. Streaming scene. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so we're just gonna dig in. Try and chill and focus and just get into it. This is one of those things in sculpting where it's like this part can either feel like super meditative and like you can just get into the groove and start refining, or sometimes this part can feel like it lasts forever, and yeah, it can just feel like it like an infinite amount of stuff to get done. But hopefully this is not too bad. It doesn't feel too bad right now. I'm excited to get all this stuff in here. Okay. Skizzle. Hello, hello. Stormfire, how's it going? Hello, hello. I'm doing all right. Start of a new week. My office is like a complete disaster right now because I'm packing up all of my stuff. So there's just like boxes on top of boxes. There's like stuff scattered everywhere. It's pretty chaotic, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize how much stuff I had packed into this. This room is not the biggest room. It's actually the smallest bedroom in our house. It's like 10 by 10 or something. Doesn't feel super big, but I sure have a lot of stuff in here. A lot more stuff than I thought I had. It's like the price you pay, I guess, for being like a collector of certain things, of action figures and art books and stuff like that. If you ever have to move, you have a ton of stuff to pack up. Yeah. But on the brighter side of things, I am looking forward to setting it all up again. Like getting a new office layout going is going to be fun. I think I found a cool new desk that I want to get. And a friend of mine who shall remain nameless sent me some cool shelves a long time ago that have like these built-in doors and LEDs and stuff. So I'm probably gonna grab a couple of those. That'd be me and my books. Yeah, I have a ton of books too. Lots of art books, lots of reference books. I have lots of art on the walls too. Like, and it's stuff that I have to be really careful of because they're like limited edition prints that I'm really paranoid about. Yeah, it should be cool. I'll take some before and after like pictures. Like I'll take some photos of the new office before I start doing anything to it, and then I'll do update. I'll post it on like Instagram and stuff. Should be fun. Try and I want it to be like more compact, I guess. And just a cleaner, like overall, like more efficient as far as like the usage of space, I guess. I think I can figure out a way to like display everything I want to display in like a smaller footprint. Not that I think that the room that I'm going to be moving into is actually going to be bigger than my current office, but I still don't want to like expand out any more than I have to. The cool thing about the desk that I've been looking at is it has like, it's an L-shaped desk, so that already gives me some nice extra room on the side of me. And then it's got built-in like display shelves. So that, you know, like where the desk turns and makes an L, on that side, or actually on the opposite side, there's a pretty good display shelf where I can put like bunch of stuff. Should make it should give me more surface area, you know. I know you don't understand. The one wall in my tiny 4-wall bedroom is just books. Yeah, that's more intense than me, for sure. I think we could probably do a wall like that if my wife and I like combined all our books together, but right now they're like split up. We have some in the living room and some in her room, some in my office. Yeah, if we wanted a big like library wall like that, we'd have to combine everything together. Books are so heavy to move too. It's like the one downside to them. You put a few books in a box and it weighs a ton. You should do reviews of dinosaur figures you made for Mesozoic beasts. I think I'd be too biased. I don't know if I could review those objectively. They're all ones that I worked on. I really want to do a castle type of night study library. Yeah, if I could like, I guess, really customize my own space. Like if, you know, I won the lottery or something and I could build my own house, that would definitely be a feature. Just a really nice, like a library room. One of those ladders that like you have to climb to get up to the top shelves. A showcase would be cool unless you already did one. Like I mean I could do that, yeah. I'm not opposed to doing that. That'd be fun. Talk about the making of my process for the figures. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Autosave, please. Okay. I looked at getting these rock sheet things that look like real rock bricks on the wall, but it'd be expensive, less than building a house. But also, who knows how long I'll live where I am. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like you can spend a lot of time. Yeah, like really want to make sure that if we spend a lot of time customizing a space, that we're actually gonna, you know, be there for a while. When autosave takes a hot minute, you know your file is big. Yeah, it's honestly, autosave kind of always annoys me. no matter how short it is. I will say it has saved me a couple of times, which is why I don't get rid of it. It has come in handy, but I'm just a big whiner. I have had it though where like my file was so big that autosave became really unbearable, and I had to downsize the file, like delete some subtools and stuff. It gets really bad when I'm preparing stuff for 3D printing, for like the action figures, because there's so many subtools that become part of the stack, and all of the subtools are pretty dense. So the files get ridiculous. Like I think I did the Arctic Dragon for Beast of the Mesozoic and cut all of those pieces up. And that file was gigantic. That's probably the biggest, most complicated figure that I've ever done. I had a ton of parts. What would be nice if it saved without freezing the whole program? Yeah. Ice Dragon. Yeah, let's see. If you haven't seen it before, I can show you a little. It's in my portfolio. This guy here. So yeah, he has a lot of parts, and it's not just the parts that are like showing, because he has all the ball joints inside as well, and like there's some crazy engineering that's going on in the head here. Like all these feather pieces pop off, all these wing pieces pop off. Yeah, it was a whole ordeal. But I think it came out pretty nice. The guys at Beast of the Mesozoic actually added more stuff. I think they added more to the tail, because the tail can... I have the... Well, I actually packed it up already, but the figure actually has joints in the tail tip here that they added like a couple more. So the tail can actually bend at the end there. Yeah, the feathers on the neck, and the feathers on the neck, the feathers on the... All of this pops off. The feathers on the chest pop off. The end right here on the legs pop off too. Because it has like... I think the idea is that it's like, this is the feathery part of it is like its winter coats or something, and then you can also display it without them, just if you wanted like fully scaly guy. So all of that comes off. Do I do commissions? Yeah. So far, Beast of the Mesozoic had been the only like figure, like action figure jobs that I've done. But I don't know, I guess if the opportunity arose. Where can you buy one? Try Creative Bee Studio website. They might have it in stock. It is pricey, I will say. But it's a gigantic figure. It's big. Let's see if I can find it. They have the new dragon, the lizard dragon. I don't see the... Arctic dragon. Maybe it's out of stock right now. You might be able to find it on like Big Bad Toy Store or something like that though, if you really wanted one. I'll just keep an eye out. BJD. Yeah, I've been looking into that type of articulation as well. I'm really interested in it. I had plans to do a custom figure a while ago just to experiment with that type of joint. Because I have a friend who does that sort of... he does dinosaurs with that sort of articulation style, and it works really well, I think. So I definitely wanted to try it. I had a few ideas. I just never got around to it. I think definitely after this guy, I'm gonna consider possibly doing something articulated or 3D printed for the next project, because I had quite a few ideas for something. My only kind of... Well, I'll ask you, Stormfire. So it's like elastic, right? That's holding all the pieces together. Like an elastic cord. Does that cord get like looser over time? Like, have you ever had issues where like the elasticity like stops being so elastic? I guess you could just like you could buy more cord and just like tie it off, you know, like what would you call it? Rethread it or something. Because that's one thing I was kind of wondering about. Yeah, if you maybe you probably have to pose it a lot for it to like get all loosey-goosey. G.I. Joes that hold their tightness. That's true, right? They have that. They have Yeah, that's right. I forgot that GI Joes had, some of them at least have that sort of elastic articulation in them. I didn't have very many GI Joes. I think I had like one, and I don't even remember the name of it. The name of him. He was just like the GI Joe that I had was just he was just fodder for my dinosaur figures. Something for them to chew on. I did hear about Sam Neill. That was a huge bummer today. That's like the first thing I saw when I woke up. I turned on my phone, and right on Instagram, that was like the first thing. And I was at first I thought it was fake. Sometimes they people do that stuff where they like make fake reports of celebrities dying. But yeah, I was really sad. It's a big bummer. Does make me want to watch Jurassic Park again. Before we pack all of our DVDs and stuff up, I gotta go and give it a watch. Maybe I had an Alan Grant that was like a G.I. Joe. I did have an Alan Grant, and I had what's his name? The hunter guy, the Australian guy, one that gets jumped on by the raptor. I still have him actually. I just saw him while I was packing stuff away in the garage. He used to have like a little net gun though, like a big black. It looked like a bazooka or something, but it was a net gun. And I don't have that anymore. I think I lost it. Muldoon, yes. And they used to come with I think those guys came with like little baby dinosaurs, didn't they? Pretty sure they did. Some of them did. Ooh, I think since last stream, so I made these custom brushes, and I always forget to put them in my Z startup folder. But I actually remembered like last week. But these are the ones that I've been working on. Yeah, he was. Just trying to add like just a little bit of randomness. What I think I'm going to do, I won't do it now, but eventually I need to make a brush that's like, where the heck did it go? I just had it. That's like this brush, but with just fewer dots in here, because these dots are basically what are making the lines. But I feel like I need something that's still got like maybe like 3. That way I can get into some more specific little areas. Because essentially what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to kind of replicate is in traditional sculpting, a lot of people would make their own tools for like polymer clay or oil-based clay. And what they would do is they usually get like brass tubes. You can buy those at like any hobby store. And then they would get wire and different thicknesses of wire, different sizes, you know. You can get them in aluminum, you can get it in steel. Some people also use like piano or guitar string, or I think, yeah, guitar string. But a lot of people would make their own. You just like cut the wires, you stick it in the end of the brass tubing, and then you affix it with like some kind of epoxy putty. But what I want to try to get is like that effect of just like, they would usually like run those wire tools multiple directions on the surface, and then they would go back with like some kind of solvent over the sculpture, and then they'd soften them a little bit just to make them less harsh, but it would result in a really nice skin texture. And that's kind of what that's the like idea that I want to try and get here. I got to do a bit more experimentation to get it to work exactly like I want it to, but that's the effect I'm going for. Gonna do a physical model of a creature in your game. Oh, that's gonna be cool. I think I had a lot of fun making, like I really liked making armatures. Surprisingly, I had a lot of fun making those out of like wire and aluminum foil and stuff. Yeah, the traditional sculpting, I almost think that I want to try it some more. I should do like a little challenge for myself and like, or maybe it would be fun to do like a hybrid workflow where like maybe it's either blocked in with polymer clay and finished with digital stuff, or maybe it's started with digital 3D printed and then like finished with over sculpting or something. That could be interesting. If you can pull it off, I think you'll do fine. Yeah, I've had a bit of an itch to work traditionally more recently. I don't know why. Maybe it's like a subconscious like reaction to all the AI junk that's going around. Like I'm like reverting back to more traditional ways of doing stuff, or wanting to revert back. Like reconnect with it in some way. Been wanting to paint, but not all that great at painting for some reason, at least digital. You know, some people, sometimes that happens. Like, I know somebody who, they were an amazing painter. Really amazing. It's just that when they got in front of the computer, it was just like a tactile thing. Like, it just didn't feel right, and they didn't. Their work just didn't feel as good as their traditional paintings. So I think they figured out some sort of hybrid workflow to like not have to work 100% digital. My wife's that way too. She really prefers to draw and paint and stuff outside of a computer, especially like sketching and stuff. Yeah, there's always a way to do it. I think I would paint. I would paint a lot more. It's just, I think it's the setup. You know, like you do need a lot of space for your easel, for your paints, for your canvas. You know, whatever size that may be, and it is kind of messy depending on what you're using. I really like oil paint. I like acrylics too, but oils just get everywhere. Or maybe I'm just a messy person. I don't know. But for me, oils just get everywhere. On my hands, on my clothes, on my face, in my hair. I swear I'm trying to be like as careful as possible too, but it just gets everywhere. Hey Cisco, how's it going? I saw you got your permit today, right? Or I saw your permit. Your permit picture. Understanding how not to do line art, yeah. A long time ago. How come you... I just saw the picture of it today. Okay. This texture here is working pretty well, I think. I feel like I have to still do a few different passes on it. just to get the variation that I want, but overall it's doing okay. These little plates need some detail. I'm looking at, it's kind of a hybrid between looking at leatherback sea turtles and sharks, but there's also a little bit of like amphibian mixed in there. It's not as like bumpy as like a toad or a frog would maybe get, but there is a little bit of that texture that I want in there. It's pretty subtle though. I think that's like, I talked about it maybe a little bit before, but probably earlier on in the process, but the more like subtle skin textures like this, where it's not necessarily like, I'm really used to doing scales and stuff like that. So when it comes to more like subtle, softer, kind of smoother skin textures, it's a bit of a challenge because it's hard to tell. It can be hard to tell when the texture is too strong, or like it's like overpowering things too much. But you also don't want it to be entirely smooth, because then it's going to look like you didn't do anything at all. It's just like a plasticky surface. That's also not great. I gotta figure out the type of texture that I want for these, because it's definitely, it's a harder material. It's not like the soft skin that the rest of the body has. What could it be? I mean, I guess it would be some sort of keratin kind of covering, so maybe I am used to doing keratin a lot, so this might not be, maybe I don't need to overthink this too much. Damn standard is always a nice go-to for this sort of stuff. There's another tool that's really good. Where is it? I saw, so for ZBrush, what do they call it? ZBrush Summit. I think they had invited some people from Capcom, and they were showing like a bunch of their techniques for how they sculpted some of the Monster Hunter monsters and doing scales on Fatalis, actually. And one of them had, I think it was a slice, is it a slice brush? What was it? Slice or slash? I think it was a slash. Where are they? There they are. This one, /2. Let it autosave. Yeah, /2, because it had this crazy alpha, I remember. This like half and half sphere. But what they were doing is they were using it to create undercuts in the mesh. I wonder if that'll help me out here somewhere. Maybe adjust the intensity a little bit. So I want a nice clean edge here. But it looked, it was a really awesome sculpt. The only bad thing is like, it wasn't translated from Japanese. So I didn't really get to hear him like talk about what he was doing. I could get the gist of it because, just like following along with, you know, what he was doing and, just watching him, but it would be cool to actually hear what he was talking about. But yeah, the sculpt looked awesome. And he made it look so just easy and effortless too. Yeah, this is much nicer. I mean, Damn Standard is really nice as well, but for these specific little features, this brush is nice. I like it. Those little overlaps. I think so. It's dependent on the where you start your stroke. So if I go from left to right, it'll undercut toward me. If I go from right to left, it undercuts away from me. So there is that little quirk to it. Just being mindful of where you're actually the direction that your stroke is going. This could be really nice for a lot of scales, like fish scales or something. And it would be really nice for maybe feathers. Feathers might be a good application for it. Wrinkles, maybe. I don't know, it feels a little too... Need something softer for scales. I mean, something softer for wrinkles. I think I just said scales. Kind of just popping around to see whatever catches my eye, really. Victor, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit ago. It's pretty sad. I was pretty surprised by the news. I don't know. There are very few like celebrities, I guess, that I'm like a fan of, to the extent that like I get a very emotional reaction to it, I suppose. But this was definitely one of them. Jurassic Park has been such a big part of like everything, really. It's definitely like, I guess I would credit three things to like getting me interested in creatures. Godzilla. I watched a lot of Godzilla when I was growing up. Thanks to my grandpa, actually. He would always watch. Well, anytime he saw it on TV, he would let me know to change the channel and where I could watch it. So Godzilla movies and Ray Harryhausen was another one. They usually kind of those two I guess movies. There are actually a bunch of movies, but they tended to pop up on the same channel. There's like some sort of, I don't know what it was, like classic movie channel or something that we had growing up. So those, and then when Jurassic Park came out, that was like the third major, like that really probably just solidified everything. So Sam Neill is definitely a big part of a lot of kids getting into dinosaurs, getting into paleontology, learning about movies, special effects. There's so many like gateways that Jurassic Park as a film like opened up, I think, for a lot of people. Because seeing Jurassic Park was really the first time, like seeing behind the scenes featurettes of Jurassic Park was really the first time where I started to get like the sense of like, okay, people make a living doing this stuff. You know, it's not just like I don't know what I thought, before then, but it's where I definitely first started to feel like, okay, this is something you can do. Like you can make a living off of this sort of thing, you know. You probably have, I would guess that you probably have a ton of people, especially in paleontology, that are around my age that started thinking about being a paleontologist because of that movie. I know I did. I mean, I didn't follow through with it, but I am working adjacent to it, I suppose. Sometimes I think I should go back to school and actually try to learn more about paleontology, more in depth. But then, I don't know. I also think about like what it would probably cost for me to do that, and that quickly deters me. I do not like the idea of having more student loans, that's for sure. Oh, speaking of Jurassic Park, I recently saw. I don't know if anybody else watches Tested, but I saw an episode where Adam Savage was actually. I think he's doing like a replica of one of the T-Rex armatures, stop motion puppet armatures. Is super interesting. He only has one part out so far. I don't know. It seemed like it was going to be like a series that he kind of came back to randomly. So I hope he does another episode soon. But he was able to visit with Phil Tippett, and he actually got photos of one of the armatures for the T-Rex, and like was able to. I think Phil Tippett sent him a 3D scan of the skull or like the head of the T-Rex, and he got a bunch of photos of like the armature all the way around the model, and like some really cool stuff. So that was fun watching him try to put together that stop mo armature. I that's another like dream project of mine, is making a stop motion dinosaur of some kind. I probably would not have a very sophisticated armature It would probably just be like wire and stuff like that. I don't think I would do any like machining of any parts or anything. But that's another project that I would really like to do at some point. A cool stop-mo Rex would be cool, or maybe like an Allosaurus or something. Storm, I never wanted to burden my parents with college and stuff because of that. They already pay at the moment an arm and a leg for my sister's vet school. Yeah, that's the one thing that's crazy about art school. Well, I guess any higher education in general, the amount that it costs to do anything. Fortunately, on the art side of things, I don't think you need to go to art school to, do what we do. There's so much available online now. I think you could just, or maybe you do like a very focused course that might cost you like couple $1,000s or something here and there, depending on how many you take. But yeah, I don't think you don't have to go like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to be an artist. I would hope not, I like this area here too. It's just this little bit of, I don't know what they are, like little ridges. I think that's that, like I said, I think I was talking about it before, but like it's kind of funny how you work on this whole model and then like your favorite part is like one little bit where nobody will ever see, like this, like I've this whole sculpture and I'm like, this is really cool. Some classes were 1,000 plus. Yeah, like those 10-week courses or something. Like I took a couple from CG. What was it called? CGMA. When CGMA was still like a school. I don't think they're a school anymore. I think something happened to that whole setup there. But I took a dynamic sketching course from CGMA and a perspective course. Just like just stuff to like kind of like spot check, I guess, or like there were just certain weaknesses in my skill set that I really wanted to refine. So I found courses to deal with that. And aside from those, I did a course on 3D printing from I think it was UArtsy. It was Ryan Kingsling's thing. And then I also did a couple of courses on paleo reconstruction. One with David Krentz, which was really fun, but that was like pre-recorded. So I didn't actually get to meet David or anything like that or talk to him. It was just like watching the the videos and stuff. But then I did a course with Tyler Keeler, who is I think he's the resident paleo artist at the Field Museum. I think he still is. I took that course and that was also really fun. But yeah, I can see them getting expensive. I only do them like once in a while. I haven't done one in a long time. Because you also have to have the, the time to devote to it. If you're going to spend that much money, you really need to focus on what's going on in the course to make it worthwhile. And I haven't had a ton of extra time lately. But I will say, I've never been disappointed by a class. So I feel like it is like pretty worth the money. The thing is though, like the thing that I feel a little bit miffed by, some of those classes don't let you keep the videos. Like you'll pay a bunch for a course, but then you have to go through all these video tutorials, but you don't get the you don't retain access to the vid sometimes, depending on where the course is. But yeah, I don't really like that. I feel like if I paid for it, I should be able to access it when I need to. There was one little I don't know if anybody else saw it, but there was one course, it was more like a little workshop that happened this past weekend. Terrell Whitlatch was doing a demo about paleo reconstruction. I thought about popping in there. I didn't end up having the time. I've seen Terrell Whitlatch give a lot of different talks though in the past, so I have a feeling that I kind of know what she was going to go over. So I don't feel too bad about missing it, but did look interesting. I think if anything, if I had time to take a course now, I think what I would do is I would focus on like rigging and animation. I feel like that's the next area that I want to focus on. So if there's any good ones, I've looked into it a little bit, but not a ton. Also, how to use Mari. That's another thing I'd like to learn. Mari and maybe Houdini. I have no idea how much those programs cost though. I haven't looked. I'm kind of scared to look. Because it's either another like subscription based thing or they're like a couple $1,000s just to get a copy of the license. At least that's the way it was when I was in college. I remember looking at getting a copy of Maya and just like, yeah, being like, there's a huge case of sticker shock there. Let's see, what can I do here? These ones are cool. They're a little bit harsh. But if you, like, I could take down the intensity, I think. And then do a little bit of smoothing on top. A lot of times they work pretty well. Give you some nice randomness. This one, let's see. Where is it? This random lizard skin here is a good little noisy brush to add to break up the skin texture just a little bit. It's crazy these days. Yeah, I imagine. I believe it. This feels really nice on top of this texture here. We'll probably have to do more of that because I do like that a lot. Let's see. Now, the thing I'm learning about this brush, so this is another one of those brushes that I've made. It's like very, very subtle wrinkles. But this one works nice if you pick a direction, like you can do kind of like cross hatching, but not like perpendicular lines. You kind of gradually shift the orientation. So you can go like up and down like this first, and then slightly at an angle, and then slightly more at an angle, and it starts to build up this nice pattern. And you can knock it back. And then you can always go back in and like pick little areas to emphasize. Little areas that feel cool. So I imagine, so this area here is semi, like, it's kind of semi-rigid, I guess. There is like a little bit of give, because this isn't like, there's probably bone under here. I haven't really thought about this guy's skull. We should probably do some kind of block out of it just to see what it could look like. But there would be some tissue over the top of this. So there would be a little bit of flex. So when this goes up to meet this part, this little area, this little lip would kind of have a little bit of compression. And you would get these little wrinkles here. It's not a ton of movement, but it is probably enough just to give a little bit of indication of some compression wrinkles in those areas. And then this is like I wouldn't say this is like totally movable, like not a ton of flexibility here, but this portion could probably move up and down a little bit. Like they could press these, I'm going to call them ears because for lack of a better term, they could press their ears back against their head, you know, for like a more streamlined effect, or maybe they could flare them out just a little bit when they're angry, that sort of thing. They kind of function kind of like the gills of like, you ever seen like a betta fish get angry and pop out its gill covers? Kind of that sort of behavior. Where did I put it? I need to make some better preview thumbnails for these brushes so I can find them easier. So start off, yeah, I'll start off with this sort of texture, general texture. And then again, I'll pop in with, where's my wrinkle? That's like the standard wrinkle roller that I have. So we can do a little bit with this. The skin under here is very stretchy. So I do want a little bit of tension. And under here, right where it meets the jaw, would be a lot of little compression wrinkles. I'm kind of combining the anatomy of a viperfish and kind of like a crocodile. Crocodiles have a lot of little wrinkles. Crocodiles and alligators have a lot of little wrinkles where their skin meets up with their jaw. I really like the way it looks. And the skin down there is like, looks pretty soft and stretchy too. Let's see, I want this one. Give us a little bit more strength in there. Come back in with damn standard. Oh, keep on forgetting to fix this. This got really messed up during projection. Got crisscrossed over here. Do a lot of smoothing to fix that stuff. You have to step through all of the subdivs. Get rid of all of this. It's not too bad. I was thinking this was going to give me more of a hassle. It wasn't too bad. Spoke too soon, maybe. I don't know if you guys can hear the little doggo whining. She has decided that the only way she'll calm down is if she's sitting on my lap while I'm streaming. But even now, I don't know what she's hearing outside. Something's happening. I wonder if is my poly paint still here? Oh yeah, okay. I was worried that it got screwed up. It doesn't really, it's not super high investment on the poly paint there because it's just a projection from my concept, but if it survives the sculpting, I might export it as just a quick block out for the skin texture. Could give me a quick head start on like the substance painter stuff. Okay, let me find, I gotta go to a better reference image. This area, I think, is just going to be kind of bony. Where's my wrinkle brush? There it is. I guess I should say my wrinkle brush as if there's only one. There are a lot of wrinkle brushes that I have right now. So, if I remember right, I was basing all of this anatomy, majority of this anatomy, on viperfish, I believe. And I think if you look at a viperfish, let me see if I can find a picture. They don't even, I think a lot of them don't even have like skin on their lower jaw. So you can actually see through it in parts. See if I can find a quick one. Trying to find one with its mouth like extended. And maybe this isn't like I have to be careful like about what I'm looking at too, because maybe some of these examples aren't like the best preserved. Because some of them are fish that are filmed and some of them that are like caught. Let's see. Ooh, this is a really good one. Okay. So what I think is, I don't know exactly, but what I think is happening is, so you have this like these gill arches back here that are kind of anchoring. You have like one point of articulation here at the top of the head that lets the head swing up. And then you have this projection down here that juts forward, and then this sort of tendon. I think there is a very thin membrane here. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think there is one. But there's like a tendon here, and then that pulls on the lower jaw. So this whole setup allows for this huge gape to happen. You can see it here too. Well, this is closed, but you can see this similar like idea. So that's kind of the effect I'm going for, like this whole lower area is like swinging forward and then opening up. And it has this similar anchoring mechanism right here. But it has like, I think it would have, this is a tendon of some sort, and probably one here. And this is just kind of skin. Like if you could look through this whole, like if you could X-ray it, I guess this would be just skin, connective tissue, basically. And the awesome thing about these guys too, I don't know if it's, I'd have to confirm, but I imagine that there's probably a set of, like in eels, like moray eels, this like the gill arches that are back here have actually evolved into a second set of jaws that they use to like draw the prey in further. I don't know if these have the same sort of idea, but I have seen viperfish that have teeth on these gill like structures. They have extra teeth, and you can see they have teeth on here on the edges too. And that's where I actually got the idea for the little edges, little teeth on the outside of the mouth as well. But a cool little detail that I think could be a thing is maybe this has another set of little jaws inside of its mouth. Excuse me, inside of its throat here. Pretty scary. Mosasaurs, I think the mosasaurs actually have a similar thing. Theirs isn't like as far back, but they do have another set of teeth closer to their throat. So this guy's, yeah, like he's a combination of quite a few different things. Yeah, Storm. Yeah, viperfish are really awesome creature design inspiration. They are some of my favorite fish. A couple other fish that come to mind that I tend to reference a lot are Arapaima. Arapaima are really cool. What else? Coelacanths are really cool as well. I tend to reference those a lot too. What happened here? I gave him a little jab there somehow. Didn't realize it. Gotta patch that little area there really quick. Oh, Goliath tigerfish are really cool too. You guys have ever seen a Goliath tigerfish? Their jaws are crazy. So you see these little teeth there too. See that happening. This guy, it kind of has a similar thing going on. It's a different orientation, but you can see how the jaws are like, there's probably a point of articulation there, and then right here, and then that's spanned across by this area here. It's pretty cool. Actually, probably some of that armored skin texture is gonna pop up on the head and on these plates from fish like this, like the arapaima and the Goliath tigerfish. Their faces are pretty well armored. I kind of wish there was like a 3D scan or something of these guys that I could find online to just to eliminate the color aspect, just so I could see the texture of their skin better. Because sometimes it's kind of hard when you have the like sheen of the scales in the water and then the coloration on top. It can be a little hard to tell what's going on with the skin texture. Sometimes you can find pictures at just the right angle. You can get pictures where you can kind of see the specularity across the skin, and that'll give you an indication of what the texture is like. But it can be hard to find those very specific reference images. This is one of those times when I'm thinking I should. I don't know. I'm still kind of tempted to make these little sort of gill-like structures here, their own little meshes. Debating. Getting these, gotta figure out this kind of internal structure of these little sensory pits. It doesn't need to be anything super complicated, but just something there that's not just like just a general round little divot. Something that kind of implies some sort of specialized anatomy. Maybe it could be like kind of like a snake for heat sensing, or maybe it's a different type of sensory input. Maybe it's like a shark, like electromagnetic senses. Oh, what's cool about, I didn't really accomplish this. I was going to, and then I got sidetracked. But like if I wanted to make this look like a bony structure, doing a little quick mask like this and with a slightly fuzzy edge, because I want it to feel like skin and tissue is growing over it. So it'll have a slightly like softer edge. It won't be completely like harsh. But if something like this can be masked off, and then you blur the edge just a little bit, and then you come in with like maybe like an inflate or like a form soft or something. You can just run this across that edge. Just very lightly. You can get that feeling of like a bone just underneath the surface. This works really nice for like scapula, ribs, what else? Like hip bones, you know, where you can see, I do it a lot on dinos where you can see their hips near their back. Theropods, you can do that a lot with them. If you're doing something with a sail, and you wanted to see the little ribs underneath the sail, that could be a way to approach it. It's a pretty useful little technique. Just gonna add some quick texture just to start filling in, getting rid of the very plain unsculpted surface here. We'll get started on some sort of implying of some surface texture just with some noise. Could probably use like Noisemaker or something for this too. just to get like a quick passive surface noise on everything. Just giving it a little look over. I feel like we did a lot today. Still probably some more to do, but we're getting closer. I think I'll probably do another, maybe another session where we're just focusing on skin textures. I do need to do some work on the teeth. Especially these ones. Need to work on those. And the inside of the mouth needs some texture, but we're getting closer. After that, I'll probably do a passive damage. Because I would like the, if you see like big great white sharks or even killer whales, they usually have some good amount of scarring on them. So I want to do a pass that includes something like that, just to kind of scuff things up and give them a little bit of distress, a little bit more lived-in quality. And then we'll be off to texturing, which will be a whole other process. And I'm debating, so I don't know what my schedule is going to be like in the next few weeks coming up, because we are moving. So I'm going to try to stream next week, but if I can't, it may be like 2 or 3 weeks that I won't be streaming, just because of the move and like getting settled back into the new place. So I'll probably make an announcement on the channel or Instagram or Twitter, just to let anyone who is interested know about that and when the streams will be popping back up. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining me tonight. And I'll see you next time. Have a good week.